Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have AP18. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everybody.
And this is Marvin, your host of Wednesday Comics. GW himself, he took off. Joker ran away with the Batmobile and he went after him. So we'll see if Batman's still here. He let Garrett take care of it. You think that's a good call?
That's a bad call, Batman. Bad call.
Well, Sioux Falls Batman, he said, well, actually, I saw the Batmobile in the concourse there. Maybe he just lied to Garrett.
Here's my keys. Well, traced them.
Well, we'll see, but Garrett's not here right now. But we're going to talk about our experience here at SuperCon 2018, Return of the Con. Today is September 30th. Really? Mm-hmm. October 1st tomorrow?
That's right.
Jeez. Well, anyways, here we are.
September was quick.
3 days, three full days of panels I went to. I went to a bunch of panels, pretty great panels. Women Creators panel. Shane and Brian had a panel about SuperCon. I went to the Travis Nye Magic Show, which, by the way, buddy, nails through the nose, needles through the hands. I think I threw up. I don't know. A lot of great stuff here, comic book wise. We had Phil Hester come in, sat next to us, talked to him all weekend. He was at our Wednesday Comics live show, which this show here is in replacement of that show for people because there were some recording difficulties. So that was live for people here.
It was a good show. It was really good.
And that's going to live in my memory for 2 more days, and then I'll forget about it. And not on purpose, but that's just the way my mind works. So that was fantastic. We talked to Dylan Jacobson, which he'll have an interview. I talked to him. I sat down with him, talked about Champions, this is my prior life, some future projects. And then Comic Book Genie himself, Mikey Martinez. We talked about his upcoming anthology he's been working on. Style, his how he's working, he's been kind of evolving the style, things like that we talked about for a while. We're also here, there's some more people here. JJ's here with JJ's Comics. Rainbow Comics is here, Brookings Bookstore, a lot of people. Shay Fontana was here, we saw Jill Thompson. LA Raw Hall, we got his new hot lunch special. And did you get, what is the book called? What you got?
The Cult Classic 1 and 2, picked that up. We had Vault
Comics here.
Yep. Got Deep Roots and Reactor. Donnie Cates on Reactor, Deep Roots, which the cover one is an homage to Swamp Thing. It looks pretty fantastic, so I gotta get it. You know what you gotta do. Good prices on it though. 3 books for $5 each. So
down the hall, we saw Tom Devine for a comic book look. Caught up with him. He was on the show also, the live show. We had a lot of fun times on that show. One game which only worked in person, line work, which was pretty fun, Pictionary, and out of that came a Phil Hester Swamp Thing that another guest, John Boylan, added to the Swamp Thing Museum, 3,501 items now. Oh. And we also visited that museum. It's very secret, can't tell you where it is. We went into a secret location in a secret entrance and saw a lot of Swamp Thing. And it was pretty great. I was pretty amazed. Like I said, when I went to that one room and there's all those statuettes and action figures, that room blew me away because that's every time I see one of those things. The thing I love about Swamp Thing is just the look of them, right? And when you go into that room and we see the artist detail on those statues, that's what blew me away. And I was like, but he has every single one ever.
Well, today I asked Phil Hester who his favorite character is to draw, and he goes, "It is indeed Swamp Thing himself."
Yeah.
He goes, it's the character that is, and he makes the joke that even if you mess up, you haven't messed up on this character. And he goes, that's not why I enjoy drawing him, is that Swamp Thing can be anything he needs to be. And it just was ironic during the live show, Phil Hester indeed gets the Swamp Thing to draw.
Yeah.
And, I mean, in
2 seconds.
2 seconds, he's drawn a Swamp Thing that looks amazing, and it's just this quick, sketched out drawing. So a shout out to Phil Hester. Thank you so much for being on the show and being such a good sport, listening to these 3 idiots do a show.
Mostly me and you yelling, and
Garrett shushing me.
Garrett being nervous. That 2 idiots were making him look bad. And especially me yelling because, oh boy, I was in character. I got that suit jacket on, and when we say I'm a method actor, I grabbed a couple beers, and well, you know how it went.
Acting went method.
That was fun. You know what's great about the Swamp Thing is that he doesn't have a definitive look. So like you were saying, Phil, so you can do whatever you want with him. But when Phil took 2 seconds and drew him on that page, everybody knew who that was. Mm-hmm. And that was actually pretty amazing. I got a laugh because it was so quick, and we're like, whoa, and everybody was blown away how quick it was. But that's what that game was going to be. It was mostly like we had these artists on there. We had Mikey, we had Dylan, we had Phil Hester, and I was like, let me get these guys to draw, and we'll play a game about it. And it was actually pretty fun.
No, I actually told Phil, and maybe you'll have to correct me, Marvin, giving Phil Swamp Thing was not intentional, right?
No.
Just coincidental.
It was in the cards. I actually thought that maybe John would get it, and I wanted to see what his Swamp Thing looked like. Or, in reality, I hoped Garrett would have got it. And then, like, when I was setting up this game, the order in which you guys were sitting was not in my head, so I didn't know.
No.
So, I didn't know where Garrett was going to sit. I didn't know where Phil was going to sit. And so, like, it just happened to be that's the order they were in. And
so, amazing coincidence.
Yeah.
That we got a legitimate artist to make Swamp Thing. And it was amazing. It was a great show. I'm actually more excited that it didn't get recorded just for those guests who did come to see it. They got to see this special thing. And that's kind of why we're doing this right now, just telling you the experiences that we've had here this weekend.
We might do another one in the future. It was very fun with everybody there. And I know our guests expressed that they want to do more something like that again. They all loved it. They... Tom, Mikey, and Dylan love Comic Book Court, and they like doing that kind of thing, and they had fun with that. Corey, I gave him the hardest one out of all of them, and he had to tell Phil to his face that I don't care if artists are busy, give me my books. Hashtag guess those one. But overall, thank you everybody that came out to that show. Thank you all the guests on that show. Thank you, Phil, for coming to Sioux Falls Supercon. And all weekend being a chill guy talking to us about comic books. Everybody that we went to their booths. Mikey, who did the interview for us here, you hear in a little bit. Thank you. Dylan, who you're going to hear here, thank you. Champion Comics. Go to DylanJJacobson.com. Go to comicbookgenie.com. See their work. See their work around town. Support them. Follow them on Twitter. And when you see they're going to do something in town, go and check it out. Hey, this is Marvin Winston Comics. Here's Alex.
Hello, everybody.
We're here with Comic Book Genie, Mikey Martinez. Mikey, how are you enjoying the con so far?
Oh, dude, it's always wonderful. Sioux Falls people are always warm and welcoming, and everybody's just super cool. It's just like a comic book summer camp weekend. You just get to see all the friends from last year and stuff.
It's been a while since you've been on our show, and that's on us. But I mean, the last time you were on, well, you're busy. You're a busy man. Last time you were on, probably the longest show in our history, I think, Alex.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree. That was a lot of talking from us.
That's my bad, too.
No, it's good because we talked about a lot of great stuff, and one of the things you talked about that actually was curious to get your update on is back then you were going back to Jack Kirby, doing a lot of like history, like going back to the New Gods, like, you know, researching him. You always talked about research. Anybody new to researching?
Frazetta.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's something about Frank Frazetta's work where he's able to like just I don't know what the terminology is, but he's just like able to make one figure so captivating, and then in a painting style, and then everything else kind of seems to blur out. So it's like that's so there's something there about like a focal point that draws the eye to where it's like it's so nice in that focal point that everything else just kind of tunnel visions out. So I think there's something there to take into this next version of evolution of things. Sure, definitely cover-wise too.
When you go back and do this research, is it like, hey, I want to do this next artist, or is it the style? You're like, hey, I want to learn more of this kind of style.
It's probably a little bit of both. I think the main drive there is that these legends understood something and worked with it, and then it's up for all the new guys to interpret that and either take that to the next level or stand on the shoulder of greats. And because I mean, it's like it's awesome. It's just kind of like music, you know. It's like, oh, that shit fucking bumps hard, like you know, and then you're like, I want to do something similar. And you imitate, and then you emulate, and then you just take the best. So and then like I said, the guy from White Knight, Sean Murphy. Oh man, I think I could study that stuff for a decade, So if I get a little bit of his influence with some of my line work, like I've been studying, he kind of seems like he has like 3 stages of depth, and so the way he does that like furthest depth, where it's just kind of like the faces, the shape of the silhouette, and the not even, I know some of them don't even have faces, and it still fucking works amazing. So like picking up those tidbits, it's definitely stuff to learn and take further.
A couple of your prints I saw recently have like very, very great attention to detail. There's one you have about a hill, and there's like a forest with the hills, and then also that swamp thing that you have, right? Is that you? Because your style I see here is kind of like more stylish, like, and then that's more like realistic. You know what I'm saying? You kind of merge those two. Is that from
Hey, that's up top. Sorry,
from looking at?
Trying to interrupt. Marvin.
You're fine.
Oh, you see anything you want
to mess you guys up?
Is that like you going back and researching these guys and want to do that, or is that like you wanted to change up your style? Like, how does that come up?
Oh man, dude, you always have really good questions when it comes to this stuff. I think my style naturally has a bit of a 90s.
Yeah. It's like a
excuse my language, like a 90s bitch face kind of moodiness to it.
Solid.
Yeah,
it's almost
that's
like
a solid description.
Okay,
of it.
and so then it naturally, I think I probably come from a line of resting bitch face people, and like so then it just comes out with DC. I think fits with me just because it seems like DC is a little bit more moody.
Yeah.
When it comes to the characters, especially the villains, even like the heroes. The heroes are always kind of like having a shitty day.
Yeah.
We say that looking at a print of Batman, the Bat family,
and they're all
villains.
like scowling, except Joker. Basically, like Joker's the only happy one in
Well,
there.
that's because he slept with a hanger in his mouth. And
Yeah.
Riddler's laughing over
Yeah, I
here.
guess Riddler.
But I mean, like, so
Yeah, so I can.
is that you being like, let me push myself and try something different, or do you get bored of just doing like the same thing over and over again? Like, where does that come from? What's the catalyst for that?
Ooh, that's good.
Because you see these artists all the time. Like we talked about, like a Sean Murphy. When he first starts out, it's not really the style that he is today. The style he say, like, that's his style now, right? He found it, and that's what he does. Do you get there from being like, let me try different things, or do you just get bored and move on? Is that?
Man, probably a little bit of that, a little bit of both. Boredom definitely dictates like the next project. But yeah, style-wise, like you see all my Batman sketches, like I still haven't locked on to my Batman yet, and there's so many, there's probably like, 100 dudes right now that've got clean, stylistic Batmans, right? So as long as I can fit in a line somewhere down the road, like I'm sure it'll evolve into something that's more this style. I mean, the detail, all that stuff just kind of probably comes naturally, and there's probably less thought than there is. There's probably more feeling than there is.
Is it more feeling?
Thought.
Yeah. Just like with music, right? Like every once in a while, you're like, hey, I'm tired of that.
Okay, so probably like constructive wise, it's probably figuring out like with that Batgirl.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it was like breaking down a nice look. Like that's probably what I'm gonna go for too. Is like bitchy, moody, and then nice looking. Like somewhat attractive.
It's interesting to me that you're saying that you have like a gritty kind of like attitude style, because I actually find your style like very like uplifting, light, like a neo-futuristic kind of.
Oh, that's good.
Like when I see this, it almost looks like a cartoon, like animated, and I don't say that in a way to be like it's simple. It's not simple. It's just that's the style of it. So it's interesting to me that that's the way you see your art, but the way I see it is like the colors, especially the way you color stuff, is like vibrant and like it really brings it to life. Is that, do you see your art like as moody? Is that just like how you feel like when you're doing it, or are you saying like that's the approach you're going for?
Yeah, I think you...
or that's just naturally from those characters, right?
Yeah, I think you like when you're drawing these characters, like just because we've grown up with them, we kind of what the emotions behind most of them
like
are.
A Batman.
Yeah, like, and so I think whenever I think I draw well, I'm somewhat emoting.
Yeah.
Like with Joker, like I have to actually like physically smile.
Yeah.
And then like the feeling I get with my cheeks and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, this is where his lips would just be like, stretched to the max.
Yeah.
I'm super good. I think that maybe that's what down the road may attract more people is the way I feel like it's gritty.
Yeah.
And then using this like 80s, 90s poppy colors contrasting with that.
Yeah.
Like this Batman. Like I don't think that Batman would look as cool if that purple didn't pop out the blue.
That's what I mean. Like the color, like the purple is like a perfect choice for that picture because, and you got Batman smiling.
Yeah.
Which is like doesn't happen that often. So even though like
it's a bit creepy.
It is a little bit because
unsettling.
you're wondering why, right?
Makes you wonder what he's thinking, why he thinks it's enough to crack that little smile.
That's why that Batman who laughs just scares the fuck out of me, dude.
Yeah.
I swear that's to me like the top scariest character.
And that's actually Jock and Snyder putting on a mini about that.
Really?
Yep.
Because I know they stopped Immortal Man or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick question. You're working on an anthology, right?
Yep.
Are you writing and drawing? Or is that other writers you have coming out?
Yeah, so I don't have any writers involved right now, but hopefully down the road when everything is finished, maybe I'll probably get you guys to help out with that a bit. But some of the stuff is actually aimed more for younger age, so like the Flufflebud stuff of like the weird characters with the mushrooms and the dog with antlers, that would probably not have any dialogue. It would probably be like more like
silent.
Yeah, like my nieces, they make up their own story when they're reading it. So it's like that's probably what it'll be. I don't think I'm a very strong writer, so I stay away from that. But that helps me train is reading other people's writing and figuring out the sometimes the most impossible jobs of reading someone's imagination. Yeah. And then doing that justice in some way is like, it's probably one of the hardest things ever. Like
the character you just mentioned that'll be part of your anthology, what's his name again?
Oh, Flufflebud?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's either Flufflebub or Flufflebud. It's not clear from my niece.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it becomes inspiration for your niece, that character.
Yeah, well, she like, we came up with together and then we were kind of go over names and that somehow popped up. It's very like Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask what like the inspiration for that. It seems very like Alice in Wonderland, kind of like this is for kids, but also like it's a little sinister side to it a little bit.
Yeah, I think like that's why I like it so much and why I'm going to continue with actually just getting this. It's pretty much going to be like him finding those other little elephant bees or whatever, and then hopefully at the end we'll get like a reveal of what the bad guy is. Yeah. And I still haven't, I haven't figured out what that's going to be. Who knows? It'll probably be a mix of a bunch of different animals together, just like the other one. But
And if you want to see, I guess a preview kind of it on your Instagram, you post it all the time. Yeah, that's where I know it from.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and, appreciate you. Yeah, like everybody's giving me good compliments on like the ink and line work. Yeah. And so hopefully with this other set of colors, with my poppy influence, it'll be more of like the influence I get from Saga, like those colors or Studio Ghibli. Yeah. Those colors just like come at you.
Yeah.
Like, so
they're not. It's not going to be a muted kind of matte thing. It's like it comes at you vibrant. Yeah. And it uses like colors you wouldn't expect, like this purple here, right? It's like boom. It's like in nature sometimes you go out there and you look, you're like, I didn't expect that the sky's orange today, right? But that's the kind of style that is, right?
Yep, exactly. It's going to be like
it's like real, but also fantastical in that way.
Yeah, yeah. So. And then at the same time, it's like the characters and everything are a little bit like you probably could make a horror movie out of it if
that's what I'm saying. I saw this guy and I'm like, he's good today, but how tomorrow? I don't know.
I mean, he's got a rat tail and horns and wings, so he's like, it's a little bit, I could go either way with that, but I don't think I will with that, but who knows, maybe. Who knows if everything, I mean, Harry Potter got dark after so many, so.
It starts off as a kid's thing and then it evolves into, because people, grow along with it and then they start changing it to be, because their audience grows up, so they gotta.
Well, the same on this poppy color stuff. Is that Galaxy, that alien girl that you saw? That one, that'll be more adult with the same poppy colors like pink, people, and like all sorts of colors. And same with the elf goblin stuff. That's gonna be my take on multiculturalism and the ideas behind, like what makes us really different. You know, like this whole color thing is a little silly. So,
well, Mikey,
more silly.
We look forward to it. comicbookgenie.com.
Yeah, pleasure. Love you guys.
We love you.
Yeah. And now I'm good. Some thank yous to you guys. You guys are awesome, and
we'll have you on.
We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch. We'll have you back on for a longer discussion, probably about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, plan out.
We'll block it out in the middle of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And then we need to do like when you guys do like a movie commentary, something like invite me over. I'll bring the beer and we'll have some fun, dude. You'll watch like Green Lantern or something.
Oh, maybe we won't have one. Comicbookgenie.com. Make sure to visit and support Mikey Martinez. Thank you. Here we are with Dylan Jacobson of Champion Comics fame, and this is My Private Life.
Yeah.
At DylanJJacobson.com. You can go and find that.
Yeah, I just updated the website to look all brand new. Instead of black, it's white now.
I did notice that.
Exciting.
I went there because I wanted to read more of This Is My Private Life, so I went to the website and I looked at it and I was like, hey, it looks different than last time. It looks great on mobile, by the way.
Good. I'm trying to find like more responsive themes. I'm using Squarespace, because I'm tired of building my own stuff. So
Yeah. So Champions 3 came out, 2 months ago?
Yeah, about 2 months ago, and we've got 5 copies left.
5 copies left at Siouxpercon. Otherwise, they can get it at Last Lap City Shop.
And Comixology, Rainbow Comics has them, and then all around the Midwest. Go to my website; it should have a list of where it's available. So
I read it on Comixology. Looks great on there, by the way.
I love the way they do the panel to panel.
That's what I did.
So
I remember last time you were on the show, you mentioned that you enjoyed that, so that's why I read it.
Right.
And it's actually pretty great. And that is not like you have an agent that does it, right? Like with Comixology.
Comixology does assign you an agent, and I don't know what their world involves, but part of it is cutting up your comic to do the panel to panel. So it takes them a variable amount of time depending on how many projects they have. But they've always done a perfect job, and I've never had to say like, oh, you did this one wrong, or you need to change that one. They just do it perfect.
They look great, yeah.
So far, all 3 times, it's just perfect.
So I think we asked you this last time, but just for anybody that didn't hear that interview, I know the Champions thing, you see like a universe coming out of it, there's all this history, right? This particular run, like how long do you see that going?
Just Champions itself?
Just Champions itself.
It'll be 6 issues. It should be done around 4th of July. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
So yeah.
Okay. 6 issues, and then after that, do you have any future plans for stuff?
3 projects I want to work on. I'm trying to figure out which one needs to come first.
Yeah.
The things are, I want to bring back my old webcomic Tide That Returns as a graphic novel. Got another one called Talentless, which is probably like the like pretty I want to buy that looking comic, and then the other one that I feel is the like secret smash hit called Kid Solomon. So I'm gonna figure out which I think I can do 2 at a time, so I'm trying to figure out how to manage that and which one to do.
How do you manage your time as somebody who's doing this full time now? Like
I used to just like
now it's your time management, right? There's nobody holding you accountable besides your fans.
I used to proverbially just like smash my head on the floor until projects got done. Now I'm doing block scheduling, which is helping a lot. So I do build a schedule, and I have like these 4 hours every day are for Champions, and these 4 hours are for commissions. And then I'm like the next day I have Champions for a certain block, and then I have prints for the next block. And then so like that's Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday is just like do something different. Read a book if you need to.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, Friday is back on the same blocking. And then Saturday is just don't have any schedule, and then Sunday is web comics, and then like pick up some slack.
Well, that actually was going to be my next question, so I'm glad that I hear on Wednesdays you actually try to like read a book or something like that, because as we talked about before, Champions has some inspiration from music, right? And This Is My Private Life is from Your Life, but so what kind of things do you go, like you read books to get inspiration, music still? Like, is there any more modern bands that you get inspiration from?
Modern. I'm kind of out of the cultural zeitgeist when it comes to music, but I've been listening to a lot of Real Big Fish because it's kind of like really peppy fuck you music, and that helps a lot when careers are tough. So I would like to do something inspired by them. The one that I titled Talentless is entirely based off the B-52, so it's supposed to be like psychedelic and like really jazzy colors and like kind of out there. What else do I have cooking? I'd like to do something with Streetlight Manifesto, which is like another like metal ska band. And I'm thinking like a western with that. We'll see.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I'm looking at your commissions back here, or like
my prints.
Your prints of different things. And I actually just asked Mike this question, so let me get your take on it, right?
Sure.
So I see that these are in different kind of styles. You have your style from Champions, and stuff that you do. When you find a style, like your style, does that come out of you just being like, this is what I like, or is it you looking at other people's work and saying, let me take a little bit from here, here, and here?
I collect, well, it's a little bit of from here and here and here. I think the thing that makes it a little bit more my own was when I'm working with a lot of my colleagues, who I love dearly, and if they listen to this, and I don't mean anything by it, but instead of doing constant like master studies or like copying like Scotty Young, for example, I read their stuff, I look at their stuff, and then I draw my own thing instead of being like, I'll draw like Scotty's Rocket Raccoon, which I've done once, but I've not done it like hundreds of times like some of my friends have, where I just need to have you in my mind as an artist and think about like when you do like a line stroke, what part of that stroke do I also do, and how do I incorporate that instead of trying to study your work by copying it all the time. So I feel like I just jump into stuff a lot quicker, which maybe I have some compositions which aren't the best because sometimes I'll put the first idea to a print, but at the same time I think taking that risk forces me to think more critically, like on my feet. So it's a good
more like
feeling.
Music then at that point, right?
It is. It really is. It's really jazzy like that. And I think I treat a lot of my work like a CD. We may have talked about this before. Like if I'm a band, then Champions is a CD. I don't make a ton of money off the book, but that's what gets you to come back, and then everything else makes a little bit more dough. So that's the way I kind of work it right now.
When you're working on your because you have your style, right? Eventually, like, do you like see yourself ever like changing that? Do you get bored with it, or do you just like, that's my thing, I'm going to do this?
I do get exhausted with it a little bit. There's a level of cartooning I do with This Is My Private Life where sometimes when a brand new character happens, I'm like, damn, that's so good. Why am I not just doing this? But then at the same time, it's like Champions is like refined, and it's so many years of like planning and thought.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning Champions for years on end, but like the way it looks and the way it feels is numerous years of things coming together. So I don't plan on leaving it behind, but I think especially like with the concept I titled Kid Solomon, it's probably going to be a lot more cartoony, like still humans, but not nearly as serious as Champions. I think every character in Champions kind of looks depressed or like they haven't had enough sleep.
Yeah.
But I think that's...
there's a lot of stuff going on, though. Like, maybe they haven't gotten sleep, right?
And, you know, it's reflective of what real life. Like, damn, we got to move fast.
Oh, speaking of which, right, your other work is reflective of your life, as you said.
Right.
You changed the character so that way it's like a bunny, and then people are like, hey, that's not actually him. But it is you.
Yeah, it's totally me.
And I think we talked this last time you were on, but just in case anybody didn't listen to that, like, how do you decide what's private and what's in that book?
So before I had committed relationships, nothing was private. If it's like, man, I was constipated yesterday, like I wrote a comic about that. Now I try to be a little more gentle with it, but my fiance has been like, hey, if you're feeling something and like this is the catharsis you need to get it out, like, don't be afraid to just do it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get out of my own way and get back to that idea of like, I'm just going to tell you everything. But I used to be a little worried about like, oh, well, we had like a weird night of sex where I fell off the bed. Like, do we talk about that? Like that.
Is it a permission thing? You ask about it first, or you just go, no, like it happened to me?
For me, like now, the way I need to do it is just do it the way I feel it needs to be done, and then show it to
then afterwards.
Show it to the person that it's intimate with, like whether it's her or like a friend where maybe we had a conversation that was a little too deep.
Yeah.
And then make sure that they're cool before I put it up, but don't ask before I make it first and be like, did I go too far?
Well, I do love that title because I know it's based on an Ongo song, right?
Yeah, it is. And so is like part of the art style is off the album that song is on.
I did do my research, listen to it.
Good.
And so, but then also like, if you think about it, it has a nice meaning because you're saying this is basically your life, but also this is my private life.
Right.
And here it is. Like, so it's very
So I've got to bear it, like the scars and all sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things with the hiatus that I've been on is I went on a huge road trip all summer. We moved. I'm getting married. I went to Gen Con. I'm at Siouxpercon. I've had so much going on, and now with retailoring and I have like a plot happening, I'm trying to figure out how to be far more personal when things come back out. And I have a few panels and like strips ready to go, but I want to be ahead of the wave instead of being like, I have to do next week's comic the day before it comes out.
Let me ask you a question, because you're a writer and artist.
Yeah.
The Champions you write in and draw, and then Travis does colors on it.
Yep.
Right? And then My Private Life, you do everything?
Yeah, I do everything, the whole damn thing.
What for you, like, is there a part of that process that you enjoy more, the writing or the artist, or is it just one thing for you? Is it just like, is it combined to both of them, or just like...
So, over the course of the last year, I've worked on 2 anthologies. One I got accepted on, and one I did not. The one I got accepted on, I wrote, and I, like, project managed. I love how that turned out, which is almost an insult to myself in hindsight, because when I was younger, I was like, I just want to do the art. Everything else can fall away. If someone wants to write, that's fine. But now I'm like, maybe I just want to write everything. So we did a Lamont Hunt, and I did a comic called Dino Boy and Rex, which I told him, hey, I want to do comic book hour, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
That published it. I want to do their anthology. It's a digital one. So we're able to have lots of files. We can put them up on our website right away, sell them for ourselves, which is great. He's like, cool, I'll help you out on that, but pitch me some ideas because I have no ideas. So I pitched him 5 tiny ideas, and we went with this one of it's sort of Horizon Zero Dawn-esque, where it's a post-apocalyptic future, and instead of robots everywhere, there's dinosaurs. And we have a little boy named Dino Boy, and his we call him a Tiny-saurus Rex, so he's like a 4-foot-tall T-Rex. And they go on adventures through the wreckage of the world, and it's not sad, it's they're totally oblivious to the fact that the world has been destroyed. So they get into a physical altercation with a tractor that they accidentally turn on because they think it's a monster.
Yeah.
And it was super fun to write, and I got to be really descriptive and see all of it come to life. And part of me is someday I want to just be able to take Champions Expanded lore, new comic ideas, and be you're going to draw this with me, you're going to color it, you're going to letter it, we're done. Let's go. So there are comics that I have in my queue, if you will, where I'm not the artist for this, I'm going to figure out who it is. I have one, I think I have a tentative title for it written on my computer, but I don't know off the top of my head. That's about lizard samurais from outer space that come to take over the earth. And I want Travis to do it because there's going to be
Is that
lot
the title?
of
Lizard samurais from space?
I don't remember what I have it called, if I have a name for it. But I have this huge list and timeline of in 2022 we're going to work on this comic, probably. So I have some comics where I don't think it's me who's going to draw them, which is interesting.
It sounds like you're really, so you have all these projects planned tentatively, right? So, and it sounds like you have it down with the time management of blocking off time to work on them.
Right.
How scary is it to go full time and fully be hey, this is it? Take off the safety net and be I'm going to go across this tightrope and not have a safety net.
I'm gonna plug myself really quick. The number one most reliable form of income I have is Patreon, which is patreon.com/Dylan.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of stuff to try to cater to my patrons, but at the same time, I also try to just focus on the work and get things done. But that doesn't always make the rent or cut the bills. So I'm frequently trying to pick up commissions and do more live shows or be at events like Siouxpercon. And those things are tremendous and cool, but at the same time they get in the way of the schedule. So there's the thing I hate to do is acknowledge that I need to push something back a month or 6 weeks.
Well, I was talking about that safety net. There's no more being hey, it doesn't matter, I'll still get paid.
Right.
I have a job.
Right.
But now it's this is taking up time for you doing that work now.
And if there was something safe in this world that did what cocaine did, where you can just be awake and get it all done, I would be interested. But things like that are horrifying.
Yeah. Not good for you.
Right. Not
but you want more hours in the day to work on all this stuff?
If I could have a 40-hour day, I could get stuff done.
Yeah.
But whew. And the difficult part is knowing that there needs to be time to consume media. If you're not experiencing anything, well, what the hell are you going to write?
You get stuck in your own world and not.
Right. And it just becomes a feedback loop. So sometimes it's okay to be I'm going to read this book, or I'm going to play this video game, or I'm going to go to this movie. That's okay. That can be a part of the career. But when you're working for yourself, every minute that's not working is uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm failing somehow.
It's am I getting inspiration for this, or is this just entertainment for me now?
Right.
Speaking of which, is there an artist that, comics, cartoons, whatever, that you admire so much and you're one day I wish I could be this guy, his style or whatever?
Yes.
How he is? Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2. And I'll give you the first one first because I think I agree with him more as a person, which is Carl Moline. He's done a lot of stuff with Dark Horse and Marvel.
Yeah.
He designed Frey for the Buffy universe. I have an original of her. It's amazing. I can't believe I got it for as cheap as he let me have it. But I would love to be able to do more work like him. I get a lot of my facial features and stuff from him, and other people who've worked on Buffy, I hope I say this right, but George Jonti, his work, and Christos Gage has a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Rebecca Isaacs, she art directed all of the last series of Buffy stuff, and it's beautiful, and her sketching is amazing. People like that I would really love to do more pseudo-realistic cartooning like they do. But then another one that my early work really comes from is Doug TenNapel. But if you want to go look up his stuff, his work's great, but I have some severe disagreements with him as a person. I don't know if we really want to get into that right now. That's been one of those things where, like, don't meet your heroes, it's going to let you down. And Facebook let me meet my hero and then let me down.
But his art's great.
Yeah, his art's great. So let's set all that aside.
Well, thank you, Dylan. DylanJJacobson.com, patreon.com/Dylan.
Yeah. And get the One Comic to Rule Them All comic off my website. You can read Dino Boy and Rex. And Lamont and I have been kicking around making an anthology of just Dino Boy stuff to pitch to someone like Image.
Yeah.
So, give us a year or two, maybe they'll come out.
So go ahead and pick that up, and if you like it enough, tell Dylan and that you love it, and then more come out of it. Champions number 3 on sale now. Go pick it up. Go get all 3 of them. Last Lap CD Shop, Rainbow Comics and Cards, Cafia, Comixology for digital.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. John Boylan works at SwampThing.com. He's been a supporter since I would say about day 7, day 14, pretty early on, right? He was a fan of the show in the first place, and then he's like, hey, I'm also, the Guinness World Records Swamp Thing. I have the most collectibles, and I want to sponsor your show. How do I do that? And so we started working with John. Tom Devine, Comic Book Look, always fun. Tom in his little janitor jacket, Comic Book Look. He did a great job with this. I went over there every time I go to that game room. That guy's in charge. He knows how to host the thing, and that's why he's the host of that show. Everybody had fun in that panel. Everybody who was on the panel, we had fun. I had fun. So we'll do more of it and do more live stuff. That's definitely in the works. The guests will be back. We've talked to all of them about coming back, and that's definitely in the works too. So if you missed it, sorry, but also I expect more to come and put on a good show for you. That's what we do.
Want to shout out to Phil again. If you are willing to be back on the show, by all means, we want you back on the show.
Yes.
Because that was an amazing experience, at least for the 3 of us guys, and I'm sure for the rest of the panel, and even for those audience members to see such a legendary artist and even writer to come together and to be like, hey, I'm going to be a part of the show. And he even said he had a good time, and it
wasn't even. There was a game show for an hour and 15 minutes, and then we had about 45-minute interview with Phil, and I asked him questions about where's Family Tree with Jeff Lemire, asking him about his past work, what he his relationships with comics, and even about the business. Where's the business going? He actually had a lot of good insight and a lot of good information, and I know I had good feedback from the audience. They said they enjoyed that also. It wasn't also just shenanigans and Marvin up there yelling. It was when I sat down, I got, Larry King style, and we talked about some things. So, great show overall. Phil Hester, make sure to support him also on Twitter at Phil Hester, but also Green Arrow, Swamp Thing, Batman Beyond, Family Tree coming up here, Jeff Lemire.
Fire Breather, The Coffin, Shipwreck from Aftershock.
Anything this guy does, go and pick it up. It's usually fantastic, and it's great. So, thank you, everybody. What should we do for the end of the show here? We didn't even think about an ending here.
I don't know. Usually that's my job.
We haven't really read comics this whole week because we've been here.
I bought a lot of comics.
We read the 3. We talked about that already. That was came out on Thursday. You know what? Garrett, actually, I got some update from Batman. He came in here a little bit ago. You guys didn't hear it. I cut out of the show. Batman came in here and said that actually Garrett, looking for the Joker, accidentally fell into the sewer, and he fought Killer Croc. And now Garrett is Killer Croc. He ate him, and he became him. I think that's what happened. So now Garrett's Killer Croc. So hopefully we can figure out why to cure him, and he'll be back on the show. Man-Bat's on the case, Kirk. He's trying to cure this guy again, and we'll maybe get him back on the show here, Garrett. We hope he will be back for Wednesday Comics. I've been Marvin.
I'm Alex. Hey everyone, Siouxpercon was great, and we'll see you next week on the show.